Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast with me, your host, Imperial Dane. Though this time with something a bit different. Yes, indeed, we're playing DoW2, specifically the Elite mod, partly because, well, that's what I got replays for. So for those that seem to be complaining about that, there you go. Nothing to do about that. Anyways, we're having a 1 versus 1 here on your AceofSwords, as it is called. We shall be watching here GUG, I don't know how to pronounce the rest because I don't read Cyrillic, versus AceofSwords here. Chaos versus a Elite mod army, the Grey Knights, though surprisingly full of inquisitorial stormtroopers. But nonetheless, here to set on a fight here. A Chaos War band under some unknown sorcerer, making a way for a hidden inquisitorial stronghold full of heretical artifact goodies. The brother captain, Hieronymus here, storming out to somehow defend it. His battle brothers gearing up for the fight, or occupied elsewhere. I don't know, and the Inquisition doesn't tell me. We're seeing here some sharp engagement already here. Lots of Inquisitorial stormtroopers bashing towards Chaos Space Marines and a few heretics here. Already some aggressive fighting there. At the same time, early up north, we're already seeing here that GUG is pouring in a lot of resources towards power generators, a vital part here. Resources a bit different to different companies in that regard. Acquisition points and power coming from generators largely. So far the forces of Chaos are swiftly advancing across the map. The forces of the God Emperor having a bit of trouble there holding the map, but there we go. Conjunction with the brother captain and 2 squads of stormtroopers here, forcing back the fallen Space Marines. Forsaken the light of our noble and mighty God Emperor. The North having seen surprisingly little action, and as something that I'll be noticing, the tempo is also much more fast-paced, and overall, I don't think these matches will be as long as their company's match. I mean, some things there for those who might consider sending in the future. There is some aggressive action here. The Chaos Sorcerer already phasing off amidst the mighty brother captain. Already there's a bit of a disparity in combat prowess. The Chaos Sorcerer obviously not really grand in the fighting with large, bulky gentlemen in Terminator armor department. A quick raid here towards the power armor, or the power, not the power armor, by a few spunky Chaos Heretics being surrounded here, and we already know here that GUG has assembled quite the force of Inquisitorial Stormtroopers. Apparently the Battle Brothers are a bit busy with other matters, leaving the Inquisitorial Stormtroopers to do everything, emptying the stronghold in the process possibly. Hidden here somewhere in some long-forgotten industrial complex spanning an entire continent for all I know. But there we go, the Heretics, noting by the way a mix of Heretics and some Space Marines and a few Havocs, a heavy weapon team here for Chaos. Sort of a bit more mixed, whereas GUG is much more straightforward. Pitting the best that he can early on muster. Power generators are going up. We've been noting though that AceofSwords is not quite investing as heavily into the power as GUG. GUG though here, of course, might then be aiming for some side of rapid tech strategy by the looks of it. So that's really the best tool I can figure him out, whereas AceofSwords investing in something a bit more broader and something a bit more slow-paced initially. So that is something to keep in mind. Already here we're seeing Stormtroopers equipped with grenade launchers and a Sword of Flame, increasing the damage and also granting him some flame shield ability. Nasty stuff. And there we go, the brother captured my straight from the Havoc, heavy bolter fire, breaking him, forcing him slightly back unless he fancies becoming a very expensive Swiss cheese. Meanwhile, those stormtroopers are flanked about here. GUG using his slightly more mobile numbers, trying out maneuver, though with the grenade launchers pounding down upon the Chaos Marines, holding on behind some old pipes. Who knows if they're still piping anything? But ultimately running straight into the full might of the Havoc's heavy bolter. Crazed veterans with a really big gun, causing quite a mess there. And setting off there against the brother captain. Awfully overextended at the moment. Awfully overextended, and thereupon set upon by Chaos Heretics.
At last.
And more goodies for the Chaos Sorcerer. I quite like the voice actor, by the way. One of my favourites. with vestments of the warp, allowing him to teleport and also makes him healthier, but you know, the teleport ability can make him sort of a quick unit, for example, for disrupting something, a formation, heavy weapons teams and other fun stuff in that regard. Slow advance here with the Havocs, not really moving much farther, though he could be using it a bit more aggressively, I think. That is something there to maybe consider for him if he ever ends up watching this. And there you go, jumps straight into the Stormtroopers, catching them probably a bit by surprise, and sets upon them with a large burning sword. Though thankfully these gentlemen have in fact been trained for those exact kind of situations. I'm sure they regret it. And there you go, the brother captain set upon readily, and also with a blessed Aegis, making him a bit tougher, a bit more durable, and less likely to fall to foul fire from the blasphemous servants of chaos. Meanwhile, light harassment up north, and rather, in fact, we're seeing here that GUG is actually further taking upwards, so at least paying for it with more power generators. We got the chaos Havocs they're covering. The brother captain charging through the Dauntless. Matters like suppression doesn't really matter when you're in that big of an armor. So Hieronymus makes a quick move there with a group of Chaos Space Marines and ignores them, going straight instead for the Havocs, and the Heretics still closing in. And we know he's finally getting something. Purifiers. Not entirely sure what department they're from, but I imagine they're probably there for purifying stuff. Bit of a duel there. Heretics and the Sorcerer keeping pinned down. Heretics blowing them up for the glory of the Dark Gods. Lovely. Whereas we are now seeing, in fact, also that AceofSwords is taking up. He's again a bit more cautious, a bit more, you know, taking an even tempo. Following up here, the Purifiers arrive. Looks like they are getting a Justicar. Someone a bit more solid into the matters of dispatching Chaos Demons and the likes. Though generally the Grey Knights really only sort of dispatched for that. They generally did not fight, you know, everyone else unless there was sort of really a dire need for it. Imperial Guardsmen and Space Marines exist for that.
That's a good position.
But there we go. Chaos also said running. Havocs also falling back, though probably to defend the power node. Otherwise things could get a bit ugly. And the Sinister Voice reminds us of that. Thank you, Sinister Voice in my head. Bit of an ability there. I don't quite know that one though. I am less sort of into the things of the Elite mod though, so of course I'll probably make a few mistakes and miss a few points here. In particular, since I have no clue about the Grey Knights in particular. So hopefully I can be forgiven for that. Looks like the power node is being regained. Inquisitorial Stormtroopers making their way for the glory of the Emperor and the Inquisition. And now I think he got a bit too aggressive, tried to enter the base, and these heavy bolter turrets made a bit of a mess of that for the Purifiers. Eager in their zeal to purify things. And the response from Ace of Seal is anything but a purifying unit. It is the Chaos Dreadnoughts. That's probably going to hurt. In particular, as some of you might have noticed, there's absolutely nothing in the real anti-tank department except this with the upgrade, but I don't think a single squad lead upgrade is going to sort of really cover it fully, in particular versus a Chaos Dreadnought, in particular if it gets the mark of Corn for it, in which case it's probably going to enjoy an advantage. So in that regard, this might be interesting. In fact, it might be that AceofSwords has sensed a weakness in the composition of GUG's force, and he's going to definitely part through it. And we are seeing a rapid fallback once more. The Inquisitorial Stormtroopers are overwhelmed here by the blasphemous might of the Chaos Sorcerer, while the Purifiers move out, intent on purifying. And there we go. An ancient veteran encased in a walking sarcophagus arrives, and he has in fact been granted the Mark of Corn and a really big claw. It looks like an upgrade here has been upgraded as well for the Chaos Space Marine, granting them, I believe it is, I can't remember the name of it, but it certainly gives them a bit more firepower. And there we go, Purifiers encountering the Chaos Space Marine, charging in close quarters combat, while the Dreadnought joins in for a bit of smashy, grappy fun. While all of this is happening though, at the same time we're seeing here a larger break-up maneuver here from the north as GUG is moving everything he can up there. Numerous Stormtroopers and the brother captain, basically using the Purifier, sort of one small force, while then consolidating the stormtroopers into a larger force, that way hoping to maybe challenge things around there. Giving up the south, it would seem. In fact, he's about to lose the power generator there as the Dreadnought tears through it like construction paper. And apparently a quick bit of a heretical ability there, lighting the structure there on fire, and the occupants were then leaving most of the stormtroopers quite dead.
Yes!
But many more shall be found to replace them, since the resources of the Inquisition are near infinite, or at least at the bottom it doesn't really matter. And there we go, going absolutely berserk, making short work of the Justicon. In fact, rightfully causing a retreat from the rest of them before they end up as, well, squishy stuff. We got the Chaos Sorcerer on Havoc mode, basically trying to sort of hunt down any sort of retreating lighters. In fact, almost getting the Storm Squad there. Looks like there we go. A Grizzly Fleet waits the last Stormtrooper and tossed aside like a empty piece of garbage from a nearby fast food service thing. We're seeing here that GUG is now seriously struggling versus AceofSwords as the Dreadnought's really taking things apart. Again, the lack of anti-tank as it is absolutely becoming dreadfully apparent. Dreadnought, dreadfully apparent, yes, know the wit. So in that regard, GUG need to turn this around somehow, otherwise he's going to have to make some rather serious explanations to the God Emperor, the Golden Throat, once he passes into the afterlife.
I will break free of you.
You see here the power gen is getting absolutely lavished by a very enthusiastic Chaos Dreadnought, thinking back to its days several millennia ago, also beating up things like that. Where we are noting, I mean, on the other hand, the Chaos sort of player has been able to sort of keep the fight large in his favour, albeit a bit struggling early on, and of course he's able to keep his power a bit more secure and able to sort of invest his resources a bit more wisely. In fact, his upgrades here turned up quite nicely. In fact, looks like something might have happened there. He might have decided for another kind of sword maybe or something to happen, I don't know. And there we go, we got some Paladins. Elite Grey Knight veterans, equipped with the finest Terminator armor. Lots of rituals involved and some really big thunder hammers, and going to town here on the Chaos Dreadnought. A second Dreadnought, by the way, here for Mr. And looks like, ooh, he called it back. I believe there's an ability for that, I believe. An ability still available for the Chaos Sorcerer or something like it. But certainly, I mean, even that, I mean, you know, the Paladins were close to winning that, but as you might notice, they still took quite a bit of damage. So if there's going to be a second Dreadnought, things might begin looking a bit more dicey here for him, although it looks like he's getting some incinerators, which I'm not entirely sure why. I think he should be more worrying about the Dreadnoughts, which might involve getting something that deals with vehicles better. And preferably from range, since, again, you don't want to get close to these, well, less than lovely fellows. Looks like this sorcerer's been able to secure many sorcerers, or Dreadnoughts. But going nuts here, I mean, he's definitely doing quite well here at the moment. In fact, now seeing the Robes of Torment added to him.
Now I shall fix and cripple our foes.
Changing things up a bit, removing teleport on the other hand, allowing to sort of fix down enemy troops, which might be something you might want to do to sort of ensure they don't escape at times from, say, these really big Dreadnoughts with really big claws. Meanwhile, though, GUG sort of continues to struggle. He's sort of doing alright to sort of secure territory, shifting about. And that way, he's, you know, he's not completely behind, but he's starting to sort of have problem winning the engagements. He's been sort of too focused, I think, on rapidly taking up so heavily that he's in fact left himself sort of bit in a sore spot. In fact, he's lost one Inquisitor Sword Storm Squad there and he's replaced it, but you know, he's rather lacking in, how should we say, unit composition. It's too shallow, too weak, and well, AceofSwords is pretty much burrowing into that. So in that regard, there's some changes there. I think that GUG needs to do again. Primary amongst those is to move into something that can put the fear of the God Emperor into these damnable servants of chaos. And there we go, looks like his incendiary bomb strike went in there. And we got the incendiary equipped Paladins going up here versus the Dreadnoughts. Both of them go berserk. The Paladins need to get out of there as heroically as they can. a bit of a problem then. Again, we sort of noticed there's been a slight flaw in GUG's strategy. So, of course, counter-attacking rapidly moving out. Some action-active force away now all of a sudden. The flamethrowers, of course, having less of an effect on a massive hulking piece of armor. And looks like here Rhino is on the way. There we go. Rhino armor transport with a fellow popping up at the top with a pincer-mounted heavy bolt with storm motor. And there you go. He's actually chained them down, making them easy target for the dreadnoughts who are too occupied fighting each other. Which can happen, so, you know, be careful about going them into crazy murder mode. Looks like an upgrade here on the way for the Rhino. Actually, technically, would turn it into a Razorback, by the way. Since Razorbacks are the ones with Rhinos with guns on top. So, little fun fact there. But the forces of the Inquisition, more specifically the Ordo Malleus, are starting to have a bit of a headache there, but there we go. Razorback here with the dual last cannons, might be able to put in some proper damage, and there we go, there we go. Good bit of damage that's being done, though he should be careful not sitting in on his own. He is, after all, merely an up-gunned armoured transport and not a tank. There's a difference, you know. And there we go, running straight into these Siege Marines, which make rather a mockery of such thin armour. So in that regard, you know, GUG over here having made another considerable tactical mistake, besides the strategic mistakes made, which is basically rushing in on his own. Again, it's not a tank. Though it might appear like one, it's an outgunned armoured transport. I mean, if you really wanted a tank, you know, we could have gone for, I don't know, a Land Raider. Would have been a bit more expensive, but, you know, I probably would have suited better. But there we go, Havoc's getting absolutely, well, wreaked havoc upon. Most of these wretched brothers of chaos torn to bits. Dominant position here, by the way, not a bad idea, and looks like more heretics have joined up. But by the way, he's sort of dominating the centre, making it harder for GUG to move about on the map freely. Also making it easier to intercept whatever GUG might do, you know. He can then react to it much easily because the centre is very much dominant here. Of course, that's something to keep in mind. And here the brother captain with a Nemesis Force Halberd. Not sure why I went for that. I mean, again, the armour is the threat here, the dreadnoughts. Not so much the infantry at the moment, yet he's seemingly not really pouring anything into cannons. But there we go, another Rhino to be a Razorback, I imagine. And the Paladins in a bit of trouble as well. Victory points are also turning against GUG here as the game progresses.
The Chaos Gods shall witness us this day.
A nasty engagement here. A fallen brother captain. Razorback here, though, joining in for a bit of fun. Getting off some good shots there. But we got the Siege Marines moving in, and there we go. Getting off some good shots there. Quick incendiary bombardment, and chaining down the Paladins. Oh dear. He's also got here, I think. Oh, a Chaos Dreadnought with a Mark of Siege. Giving it a missile launcher. Ain't that lovely? Looks like here, slight chance here as they go out to the Berserk. Case taking force away, the Purifiers might just meant, and now the more storms went down there, the heretics, well, doing unspeakable things to them. Probably best we miss that. The north has been lost, and here we go, actually closing up. Now, I'm not entirely sure why. It's not like there's anything that needs to be hidden at the moment. Quickly, brothers, hide from what we're winning. Oh, right. Well, we'll just hide it anyways, because it really annoyed those worshippers of the false emperor. There we go. A few purifiers. Found them quite the opposite of purified. Oh, there we go. A nice flame strike there. And the purifiers lost as well. Heavy losses here for the forces of the Inquisition. The guardians of the heretical artifacts being slaughtered one by one, and the defenders of the Inquisitorial stronghold being cut down. This is starting to look a bit bad here. Once more he sends in his Razorback in apparently false belief that it's a tank. I'm having a bit of a hard time otherwise describing what he's doing here with it. Brother Hieronymus, I do believe you're mistaken. No, I'm pretty confident it is a tank, but it's taking fire poorly. The Emperor wills it. No, he doesn't. I'm pretty sure he doesn't. Shut up, you're not a Grey Knight. What servants you got? Once more having up, ready to intercept any servants of the false God Emperor. But GUG and brother Captain Hieronymus is not ready to give up. Although again the assets are lacking, the resources are devastated, he's not having any power for quite some time. He was in the ability to protect that as well. He was too concerned of quickly taking up that apparently there was a sort of strategy lacking there to sort of do something else with it afterwards. More shots there though. The Razorback continues in a vain hope. And the Paladin's closing in here again, trying to get them, but again someone gets away. The other one wishes he had, as he finds his leg smashing with a mallet. And again, quick change of torment there, leaving the Paladins in a very unenvious position as the two Dreadnoughts close in. A smaller mission in the north here, repairing the Razorback, but this is another Stormtrooper unit decimated. And the Paladins have fallen as well. I do believe this is GG. And a loss to the Grey Knights and the Inquisition. The strongholds' defences have fallen, overrun, and the artifacts pillaged by this unknown sorcerer. Though clearly not a complete fool. Overall, I mean, this game basically came down to sort of two things. I mean, in essence, GUG seemingly had a good plan, you know, try to take up as quickly as possible, get something really, really good to punish an opponent with. There was just one problem, that was unit composition. It was very much focused towards dealing with infantry to a certain extent. It lacked support weapons, but also more importantly, it lacked something that could deal with armour. Once that sort of, you know, came in to AceofSwords' attention, he reacted to this, well, reasonably predictably, as most people in that department will, which is get a lot of armour, beat the snot out of the other boss. In this case, the armour literally beat the snot out of them with a really big claws. In that regard, you know, victory was pretty much self-assured with them because GUG had some problems. Again, partly he seemed to think the Razorback was a tank. I mean, if you had to be sort of, you know, generous, I'd call it a tank destroyer, but generally, in most cases, not treat a tank destroyer like a tank. So, little detail there. In that regard, you know, defeat essentially came as well. I mean, he could maybe sort of master a few of them. That could probably have done the trick, but he never quite got around to that. Also due to the poor defense of the power nodes, things really didn't work out for him in that regard either very well. So I think, you know, that rather covers it. That was the sort of the first Dawn of War 2 episode. Again, Elite mod because of himself. I mean, if you could receive any good regular Dawn of War 2 replays, I'll of course do them. But so far, I mean, this was the best I got, and I figure, you know, at least get sort of one this week. So hopefully, for those, you know, that are veteran Dawn of War 2 watchers, all that, I hope this was enjoyable. I hope you had some fun. If you did, you know, feel free to share with your friends, with everyone, your family. Regale them with the tales of the Propagandacast or whatever. And of course, you know, if you feel like you could have done better, if you could have been providing a much more entertaining episode, you know, send in a replay at propagandacast@gmail.com. I'd more than love to have some more. Mark them Dawn of War 2 though, so I can separate them from all the Company of Heroes stuff. Because Company of Heroes 2 is not going to read the Dawn of War 2 replays, although it would be pretty fun if it could. Anyway, so hope you enjoyed. Hope you might also learn something, because that's also what I occasionally try to aim for. And of course, all my regular viewers, I also hope you had some fun watching this. I hope you learned something, and again, maybe enjoyed the slightly different pace of the game. I'll try to get out a few episodes of, well, Dawn of War 2 regular or Elite mode or whatever during the week, which is also seeming doable again due to the sort of faster pace and thus shorter matches. So there you go. Thanks you all for watching, and hopefully see you another time. Bye.